God, can I talk to you as I really am? Without filters, without formalities, without ready-made phrases. Because today, I can't pretend everything is okay. And before I say anything, let me start with a question that's been eating me up inside. What if what I'm facing now isn't just a consequence of life, but a reflection of a spiritual war that I didn't even realize was happening? I'm tired, Lord, but it's not a physical tiredness. It's a soul tiredness, a silent exhaustion, the kind we hide with a smile. And I know the world never stops, that every day there's traffic, noise, notifications, decisions. But could it be that, in the midst of all this, I'm losing touch with you? Because I've been living on autopilot, doing everything right on the outside, but inside, I confess I'm distracted. I find myself stumbling over confused thoughts, falling into old habits, ignoring warnings that your spirit may have already whispered, but I didn't hear. Not because I don't want to, but perhaps because I've grown too accustomed to the noise. And that's what scares me, how much I got used to the noise. I got used to waking up in a rush, responding impulsively, planning without praying. I drifted away without realizing it, one step at a time, a choice here, a rush there, until I realized my heart was far away, even as I still spoke your name. Am I becoming deaf to what the sky is trying to say? I'm afraid, Lord. Afraid that I'm fighting superficial battles while the real enemy is at work behind the scenes. Afraid that I'm using my strength to overcome what I see, but ignoring what I don't. Because the truth is, what I don't see affects me more than I want to admit. How many times, God, have I thought it was just stress, but it was an attack? How many times have I called it a coincidence, but it was an enemy strategy? How many times have I swallowed thoughts that didn't come from you and let them take root? I ask you with an open heart, how many times have I been dominated without realizing it? This is my confession today. I need to wake up. I need the Lord to awaken me from within, shake me, and pull me out of this spiritual stupor. Because this is what I feel. Awake on the outside, but asleep on the inside. Active in tasks, absent in faith. Quick to respond, slow to pray. And God, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live numb anymore. I need to see. I need to discern. Teach me to notice the things that aren't visible to the eye, but that are destroying my peace. Show me when I'm fighting the wrong person, blaming the wrong situation, and forgetting that there's a spiritual dimension behind it all. Am I too distracted to realize I'm under attack? Show me, Lord. Show me what's trying to paralyze me. Reveal the weak points I'm not paying attention to. Because sometimes the enemy doesn't come in kicking down the door. Sometimes he sits on the couch. He disguises himself as routine. He camouflages himself in small concessions. And before I know it, I've already let him in. Don't let me live in the dark, Father. Give me spiritual eyes, sensitivity to your spirit. Because there is something inside me crying out for discernment, for awareness, for direction. And you know what worries me, God? It's that maybe the enemy doesn't need to destroy me, if he can just distract me. And that hurts. Because I know I was called to live with purpose, with fire in my heart, with heaven within me. But sometimes, Lord, sometimes everything seems so dry. And I keep asking myself, where did I lose my hunger? But even without understanding everything, I came here today to say, I don't want to conform. I don't accept a dormant faith, a lukewarm spiritual life, a soulless prayer. I want to be vigilant, not like someone who lives in fear, but like someone who knows they are on a warpath and cannot let their guard down. Awaken my spirit, Lord. Lift me from this apathy. Rekindle what time, fatigue, and frustration have tried to extinguish. I don't just want to survive my days. I want to live them with my eyes open and my heart aflame. And if necessary, confront me, call me out, correct me, but don't let me remain asleep. Because what scares me most, God, isn't facing war. It's being in it without knowing it. Now I understand that I can no longer live with my eyes closed. I can no longer ignore the signs. I want to prepare myself. I want to strengthen myself. I want to put on the armor that comes from heaven. But first I need to acknowledge, I need to be awake. God, today I didn't come asking for relief, I came asking for clarity. Because the more I try to get back on my feet, the more I realize that what I'm facing isn't just physical exhaustion. It's not just an accumulation of tasks. It's not just a difficult phase. It's deeper. It's as if I'm being sucked in by something I can't name, but it's robbing me of my peace, my energy, and little by little my faith. So explain to me, Lord, what's behind all this? Because something tells me it's not just psychological. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual. I keep remembering situations where everything seemed to be going well, but then, out of nowhere, a crisis, a relationship turmoil, an unwarranted burden, a conflict where there was once peace, a misspoken word that turned into a fire, an anxiety that paralyzes me just when I was ready to move forward. There are many small, isolated battles, but when I look more closely, I see a pattern, and that's when my mind begins to suspect. This is not a coincidence. It is a strategy. Show me, God, what I'm not seeing, because the truth is, I don't know how to fight what I don't understand, and I'm tired of attacking symptoms and ignoring the root. I'm tired of throwing my energy at people, circumstances, and myself, when perhaps the real enemy is working behind the scenes, smiling while I'm distracted by the superficial. Help me discern, Lord, because the war is real but subtle, and that's what makes me vulnerable. Sometimes it comes disguised as routine, innocent conversation, an attractive proposition. Other times it comes disguised as genuine fatigue, a passing distraction, or justified discouragement. But in the end, all these things have the same purpose. I will be weary of you. Silence me, tire me, confuse me, and I stay here trying to understand. Why does the enemy attack me so much if I'm not even perfect? If I make so many mistakes? If I have days when I can't even pray? But maybe that's exactly why. Because he knows that if I discover who I am in you, if I wake up, if I get up, he won't have a chance. So he attacks me while I'm still weak. He surrounds me while I'm still trying to figure out what's happening. And God, he's subtle. He doesn't play fair. He's in no rush. He doesn't need to win outright. He just needs to keep me distracted long enough to see me defeated without even having fought. How many times have I been fooled? How many times have I stopped praying because I thought it was all in my head? How many times have I accepted thoughts that diminished me, that condemned me, thinking they were mine, when in fact they were voices contrary to your purpose for me? Today I realize the most intense battlefield isn't outside of me. It's inside, in my mind, in my heart, in the places where no one sees but where the enemy insists on sowing doubt, fear, shame, and discouragement. And I keep trying to protect myself with my strength, my control, my logic, but none of these can overcome the spiritual. So, Father, teach me to fight right. Keep me from wasting energy on the wrong people. Keep me from turning problems into enemies and from thinking that my boss, my spouse, my bank account, or my own insecurity are the villains in this story. Because now I know these are just facades. The real war is happening behind the scenes. And if I keep fighting only in the visible, I'll lose in the invisible. And do you know what hurts me most? It's that, in many moments, I became an ally of the war that tries to destroy me. I collaborated with it when I stopped praying, when I allowed thoughts of defeat to take hold, when I spoke words that hurt, when I accepted a pace of life that exhausts me but distances me from you, when I relativized values that your spirit had already taught me. Today I see I wasn't always attacked. Sometimes I was an accomplice, but I don't want to be anymore. I want to understand God. I want to discern what is war and what is just noise. I want to recognize the enemy's tactics before they engulf me. I want to realize when what seems like rest is actually distraction. I want to distinguish when calm is your peace and when it's a trap set to lull me to sleep. Because there are times when everything seems so peaceful, and that's exactly when something tells me, careful. The enemy knows how to wait. He knows how to feign silence. He knows how to disguise attacks as promises. So open my spiritual eyes, Lord. Give me vision beyond logic. Show me when I'm being manipulated and I don't even realize it. Reveal the behind-the-scenes war that tries to silence me. Teach me to pray with understanding, not despair. To declare your truth, not just shout my fear. And I know there's so much more to understand, so much more to face. But now that my eyes are opening, I don't want to stop. Now that I've begun to perceive what lies behind the visible, I want to know, how do I protect myself? How do I prepare myself? What has heaven already made available to me that I'm not yet using? God, what I fear most today is not the weight of the struggle, but the lightness with which I sometimes face it. It's as if I've grown accustomed to losing, as if living wounded has become the new normal. And that scares me, Father. Because I know I wasn't made to live defeated on the inside while feigning victory on the outside. Help me, equip me, because now that I know the war is real and that it's invisible, I no longer want to be unarmed. I'm tired of taking it in silence. I'm tired of being passive in the face of evil just because it comes in disguise. I no longer want to accept, as if it were part of life, what may be part of an attack. And worst of all, an attack I could resist if I were prepared. So show me, God, what is this armor that the Lord left for me? And why is it so easy to forget it when I need it most? I've been trying to fight with my own weapons and it hasn't worked. I try to control everything. I try to understand everything. I try to predict, avoid, calculate, plan. But then an arrow comes, the kind that makes no sound, and pierces me in the middle of the day. Sometimes it's a toxic thought, an old hurt that returns, a word someone said that broke me, an insecurity I thought I'd conquered but was only hidden. And suddenly I find myself wounded again. I see myself small. I see myself afraid. It's in these moments that I realize my weapons don't work. My strategies fail, and I turn to you, God, not to run away from the fight, but to learn how to truly fight. Clothe me with this armor that comes from above, not religious garb, not a super believer pose, but real armor, one that protects my heart, my mind, my faith. It starts with the helmet. Yes, give me this helmet of salvation, because my mind is a battlefield. The enemy constantly tries to plant lies there, that I'm not good enough, that I won't make it, that I'm alone, that it's better to give up. He lies, God, and worse, sometimes I believe it. That's why I need your helmet, to remember who I am in you, not who the world says I am. Then give me this shield of faith, because there are times when attacks come one after the other, without warning, and without time to think. It's only with faith that I can resist. Faith not in my own strength, but in your word. Faith that, even without seeing it, the Lord is at work. Faith that lifts my head when everything inside me wants to hide. And I know, Father, I need your righteousness too, not my own, because mine is flawed. It's full of pride, comparison, and self-defense. But your righteousness is clean. It covers me with it, because the enemy knows where to touch. He knows my mistakes, my sins, my shame, and he throws them in my face to paralyze me. But when I clothe myself in your righteousness, I remember that it's not about deserving it. It's about being covered. I don't fight because I'm perfect. I fight because I'm redeemed. And there's more, Lord. Shoe me with the gospel of peace, because I want to learn to walk firmly, to not stumble with every step. Give me direction. Give me balance. Help me not to run on impulse or stop out of fear. May my steps be guided by your peace, because when peace comes from you, it is a silent map. It shows me where to go, when to stop, who to be with. Now, God, give me the sword, your word, because I'm done living on assumptions, human advice, and pretty internet phrases. I need the truth. I need your voice cutting through the lies I've heard my whole life. Teach me to use this sword, not to hurt others, but to fight what tries to destroy me from within. Because if I don't know your word, any lie will sound like the truth. And finally, God surrounds me with prayer, not as a ritual, but as a weapon. A prayer that connects me to heaven, that sustains me in the midst of pain, that realigns me when I lose my way, that reminds me that even when the ground shakes, your throne remains firm. I'm ready to fight with your weapons, Lord. But I must confess, why is it so easy to forget them? Why, even knowing all this, do I still find myself trying to fight my own way? Do I still, deep down, think I can win with intelligence, charisma, and emotional control? But the truth is, I can't. I've already tried, and I'm here precisely because that's not enough. Only your armor sustains me. Only your spirit empowers me. Only your truth sets me free. So help me, God. Teach me to dress myself every day, to not leave home unprepared, to not start the week vulnerable, to not talk to the world without first talking to you. Teach me to recognize when I'm slowly stripping away my armor, exchanging faith for weariness, vigilance for distraction, prayer for pride, because the war continues, even when everything seems calm. And now I know the enemy doesn't take vacations, but I also know that you are with me, and that changes everything. God, can I tell you something I'm afraid to even admit out loud? Sometimes the hardest prisons to escape are the ones we get used to calling home, and I'm realizing that there are things inside me that don't come from you, but that I've embraced as if they were part of my identity. Help me, Father, because even though I'm wearing the armor, even though I understand that the battle is spiritual, I still feel chains holding me back. Chains that make no noise, that have no visible lock, but that prevent me from moving forward. They are prisons disguised as temperament, as way of being, as life story. But deep down, they are nooses tied by the enemy, buried tight, in places where I've already lost too much. Tell me, God, how many times have I called personality what was trauma? How many times have I accepted the lie that this is just the way I am, when in reality, it was just a reaction to what hurt me? How many times have I said, I'm fine like this, just because I no longer believe it could be different? Show me, Lord, what still holds me back, because I want to be truly free. Free to trust without fear of betrayal. Free to rejoice without feeling that sadness will soon follow. Free to rest without guilt. Free to believe that you want me whole. Not half-hearted, not broken, not barely surviving. But there is something inside me that screams, what if I am my own obstacle? What if what limits me most isn't others, nor circumstances, nor the devil, but the lies I've accepted? The voices that told me I wasn't capable, that I wasn't loved, that I was a mistake waiting to happen. And even after hearing your truth, I still let those voices echo. Forgive me, God, for all the times I doubted what you said about me, and believed what fear whispered. For every time I let the past dictate who I can be. For every time I backed away when your spirit called me forward. Forgive me for making silent agreements with pain. I will never trust again. I will never try again. I will never open my heart again. These pacts, Lord, are shackles. They are invisible handcuffs, and I don't want to live with them anymore. Break, Father. Break every emotional chain that makes me react with distrust to every love I receive. Break every prison of rejection that still makes me feel excluded even when I'm surrounded. Break the fears that sabotage me on the eve of something good. Because, God, I realize that every time I'm about to grow up, something inside me tries to pull me back to the old me. It's as if there's an old version of me, shaped by pain, that tries to survive every time something new arrives. But I no longer want to be faithful to what hurt me. I want to be faithful to what heals me. And what heals me is your presence. Lord, free me from my attachment to suffering. Sometimes, without realizing it, I get caught up in my own wounds as if they were part of me, as if having them were a way to keep alive the memory of those who hurt me. But you didn't call me to carry open scars like trophies. You called me to be healed, to be restored, to be free. So show me, what am I still holding on to that I should have let go of already? What hurt, what word, what scene from the past is still shaping my present? What do I need to give to the Lord? Even if it hurts, even if I've gotten used to it, I know that true freedom isn't just getting rid of something. It's having the courage to live without it. And sometimes, that's the hardest part. Because living without old fears, without old walls, without old shields, is like relearning how to exist. But I'm willing. I'm here saying, deconstruct me where necessary, remake me, restart me, renew me. And if there is still a chain I don't see, reveal it, God. Because not every prison has noisy chains. Some have profound silences. Others have beautiful justifications. But every prison, no matter how comfortable it seems, is still a prison. Free my mind from comparisons. Free my heart from the words that diminish me. Free my identity from the distortions that time and pain have taught me. Because the enemy wants to convince me that living in prison is safer than walking in freedom. But I believe otherwise. It is in freedom that your spirit guides me. It is in freedom that your voice finds me. And even though the journey toward freedom is scary, I prefer to take a risk with the Lord than to remain trapped with the enemy. God, it's strange, but today I woke up different. I can't explain exactly what changed, but something inside me feels lighter. As if those silent chains I'd carried for so long had finally fallen away, and for a moment, however brief, I could breathe like someone free. But Father, why is it so hard to stay like this? The truth is, I've experienced this before. Moments when your touch freed me, when I felt the weight lift, my mind clear, my faith rekindled. But soon after, the old voice would return. The same triggers, the same temptations, the same fears, all trying to convince me that freedom was just a passing illusion. And that's where my heart gets confused. How do you walk in victory when the whole world seems programmed to pull me back? Help me understand, God, because I want to be constant, but sometimes I feel like a sandcastle. One wrong word can crumble me. One bad day can destabilize me. A memory from the past can throw me off balance. And I ask myself, is the freedom I received yesterday strong enough to withstand today's battles? I want to shout, "Yes, it is," but my reality still whispers, "Maybe not." So show me, Lord, how to live freely in a world that is still trapped, how to maintain faith in an environment where doubt is fashionable, how to remain standing when everything around me seems to want me on my knees, not in prayer, but in surrender to the system, to fear, to weariness. Because God, I feel like the biggest fight right now is not against prison, but against the constant invitation to go back to it. The enemy